Hello, everybody. It is 2022. Um, we're alive. Those of us that are watching this, I guess, or just me. I don't know if anybody watches, um, but I do. I go back and I rewatch these. This is like almost like a way for me to chronicle my journey, uh, in case I get Alzheimer's or dementia. Somebody can play all this back to me, and I'm gonna be like, "That's not me." I don't know. So I've been working through some interesting stuff, and I know that like the last video I was super emotional. That tends to be the case, at the end of the year. I get overly sensitive about lots of things, and I read too much into things, and I think the world is my enemy. I think everybody like hates me. It's a thing. I'm working on it. And that's what we're gonna talk about. um, Seriously though, so like the last week, I have actually been focusing on trying to understand like different thought patterns and different emotional energies that feel like they're coming from within you. But it turns out when you isolate and you create like a protective field around yourself, they're not. They're coming from outside. Now, let me explain. You wake up in the morning, right? On paper, your life is good, right? Everything's fine. Like you should be good, right? But somehow you have this overwhelming sense of something, dread, fear, depression, worry about health, worry about something that creeps into your mind, right? But it's like you think, well, shit, I feel this. It must be attached to something in my life. So you literally start going through and trying to find the things in your life that this could be connected to, And sometimes you'll just assign value to it. Oh, I must be stressed about this or that or this. What if, though, it's not you? What if as a human species, right? What if we actually are more psychic than we've been told, right? And what if, I don't know, because of COVID and shared trauma, it's brought us all together in a level where maybe we're picking up other people way more than we used to, right? And maybe it's like we're picking up the collective field of like all the people, like way more than we used to. Think about this, right? Think about it. Just think, right? Imagine all the feelings that you feel, right? And even the thoughts that you're thinking. Are all of those coming from within you? Think about that. Is every single thing in your mind, in your heart, is all of that you? Maybe it is. Maybe for you it is. But some of you, I think, know that deep down inside, it's not all coming from you. Some of it's coming from other people around you. Some of it's coming from the collective field of just humans. Some of it could be coming from an animal, like a dog or a cat, even. Like, you'd be surprised how much emotional energy can come from one thing to another and then get like retranslated in a way where we try to assign value in our everyday life, but in reality, these are just core emotional things. So here's my thing. This is what I've been doing this week. Every time something creeps into my mind, right? And this happens a lot. I stop. I like, okay, stop. This all goes back to being like present, right? I go, okay. I hear this thought creeping in my mind, or this vision, or this feeling. Let's stop, and instead of hiding from it or trying to bottle it up, let's bring it out to the light. Let's take a look at it. Let's put this thing right in front of me, right? So I look at this thing and I go, okay, you are a feeling of blank, or an emotion that is blank. For me, it's usually inadequacy. It's like a feeling of like I'm not doing enough, and it's like everybody's mad at me, my coworkers must be mad at me, my family must be angry at me, I'm not doing enough, I'm just never doing enough. But it turns out, I think a lot of that is actually coming from other things. And when I isolate this, I realize I am doing everything I can. Okay, like from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, I'm trying to keep a very balanced lifestyle between work, between friendships, between family. Obviously my wife, obviously like my hobbies and interests. I'm taking classes occasionally. I do this. I have a variety of things going on. Like and I like to keep it that way. I don't really want to get too fixated or focused on any one thing. I've never really been that kind of person where I get super like hyper obsessed with just one topic, you know, or one thing. And I appreciate people that do, but like for me, I've always kind of been, you know, involved in lots of different things. I'm like, I dabble in a lot of things, you know. I have a few really strong interests that I don't really talk about with anybody, but I'm able to isolate most of these feelings now, especially in the mornings. The mornings for me is when they tend to creep up. I wake up in the morning and I wake up around 4 a.m. usually, and I don't get out of bed until like 6 or 7. So those last few hours, I'm not quite sleeping. I'm kind of in a semi-sleep state. And that's when my mind tends to get like pulled into different things, you know? Whether it's playing back past things and feeling like I've done something wrong, or projecting things forward and thinking that things are gonna go wrong. For some reason, it goes into a negative place, and that's not how I actually am. Like, to be honest, like, I'd say for those of you that know me, but none of you know me. Nobody knows me. But if any of you ever want to or get to know me, you'll find out something very interesting about me. I'm actually quite positive. Like, deep down inside, I truly do believe that, like, number one, human nature is good. Humans are actually wanting to be good. They want to be good. They feel better when they're good. They do good things, they feel good. Humans should be good. We should be doing good things because it makes us feel good to do good things. Once you get into all the stuff of why people do all the other stuff, you know. But I have belief that on a core level, humans are good, and each individual is a good soul. Now, I might be wrong on that, but that's my one thing. My two, I believe that there is a universal destiny for everything. Okay, so I trust, and for some people, like Christians or for people of any faith, really, you have this trust. You trust in your faith guides you, and you know that, you know, you don't have to second guess every decision you make. You step forward, not constantly having to feel like you have to step back. And I think that's something that I had to learn, because I didn't really have religious faith. I looked for it a lot as a child. And as a teenager, and even in my 20s, and I guess in my 30s. So I've been seeking religious faith, but I have not found religious faith that connects to me on a level where I can logically and spiritually accept them. Both, okay? It's not just the logic. You know, there's a lot of issues I have with people of faith that say one thing and do the other. And to me, I'd rather not be of any faith and be who I am. You know, I say this, I do this. I say that I'm a spiritual person, I am, you know? Like, it's one of those things, though, that when I first started wanting to be spiritual, I wasn't, you know? And I knew that I wasn't a spiritual person. I didn't feel connected to spirit. I didn't have any level of faith or trust in anything. I just felt like the world was just everybody out to get you. Everybody was just out to get you. The whole world was just out to get you, you know? And that's not a very healthy way to live. Even if it's true that the whole world's out to get you, like, it doesn't help to be fixated on that concept. There's no benefit from doing that, personally, for me. So, like, I do believe that the universe has a plan for everything, for everybody, you know? And if I meet people and I feel connected to them, that's part of the universe's plan. I don't know why, you know? If I meet other people and I feel like I need to avoid those people, that's all part of the plan, you know? I don't question it. I don't go, let's dig into this. Because when I start digging into shit is when I start getting all up in my head. You know, I have friendships right now where I'm like, logically, how did I connect with these people? Like, and yet, on an ethereal, like, universe level, it's like, it just makes sense. Like, it just is what it is. Of course I connected with these people. How did I not? How would I have gone through this whole life without finding certain people? Like, that's how connected some of us are from life to life, between different, like, timelines. It's kind of like the movie Cloud Atlas. We all have these interconnected lives, you know? Even complete strangers that we've never met in this life, they may have lived so many connected lives with us that even though they don't know us, the moment you see somebody and you feel that feeling of like, why do I feel this? Like, and sometimes you don't even have to see them to know this. Sometimes you could just talk to them. Sometimes you could just, you know, communicate with somebody and you could feel it. So that's something to think about. Back to the original topic, though. So that exercise of, you know, when you notice things creeping up, whether it's like negative thoughts or negative emotions or self-doubt or self-hate or self-whatever, say stop. Isolate it, okay? And really evaluate, is this me? Is this my emotion? Sometimes it might be, and you have to accept that. There's going to be a few where you're like, oh, yeah, okay, this one is me. This is something that I got to deal with. I have some issues from my past that I'm shockingly still dealing with. I feel like I've kind of gone through the whole process of dealing with it. But sometimes these things, especially this time of year, here's the kicker: your real issues also are coming through right now. During the first few weeks of any year, things that you have not dealt with will continue to pop back up like a pattern. It'll just creep back up, and see if you're going to do it differently this time. Are you going to handle it differently, or are you going to handle it the same way you did last year and the same way you did the year before? For me, I've got a few of those things where they popped up and I went, okay, these are me things. These are mine. Like, I know this. I'm going to own this. This is my issue. I'm working on this. And this year I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to be honest with you. My thing this year is I'm not going to hold back on being who I am. I used to think that if I was too much myself, I would push everybody around me away. Because, like, nobody, when I was a kid, man, nobody could handle me. I was just so hyper and so talkative and dominating in conversation, and I just wasn't a good listener, and I didn't honestly have any kind of level of empathy for other people. I didn't understand that people's brains weren't constantly just going like mine is. I didn't know that people had different emotional levels. I thought that everybody was super sensitive to things like I was. So if somebody said or did something, I took offense to it because I assumed that they meant to offend me. Turns out it's not always true. A lot of people don't actually mean to offend me. I'm still learning this one. Yeah. So, identify the issues that are yours and bring those up and say, you know what? I'm tired of seeing these every year. This is the year that I'm going to deal with these. Maybe not all of them. Maybe just, pick something that you feel like you can work on this year and really focus on that. Work on the one thing. Make that your thing. But all this other stuff that's coming into your field that's not you, that is not you, that was never you when you were young, and it either came from other people's influence of you, or it came from the media, or it came from, something. But deep down that that's not you. You need to stop those. You need to say, stop. You are not me. You are not in my field. I do not own you. I am not responsible for the burden of this energy. And when you let go of that, when you say, this is not my burden, this is not my energy, you'd be surprised how many things will just fall away. And you'll be like, whoa, all this other stuff that I thought I was supposed to be stressed out about was other things that I'm really not that stressed out about, and I'm not supposed to be that stressed out about. My life is actually like chill, and I'm supposed to be chill. It seems weird, but like, that's my thing. If I stay in a certain level of kind of like chill and not contentment, but like appreciation and gratitude for where I'm at, then good things will always happen. But the moment I start to get upset about anything in a level where I feel like I need to start controlling, that's when like everything just kind of falls apart. So that's me. I don't know about you or any of you, but like I've had to learn these patterns of my own. And this year I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to be myself, and if I push people away, they'll come back. I have faith. I actually have faith that I am a really interesting individual, shockingly. The lack of views on these videos seems to tell me otherwise. But you know what? Those are just numbers. It's okay. I'm sure that deep down inside, the few people that watch these find me fascinating beyond belief. And if not, the future me, when I watch this, I am going to find this fascinating. So at the end of the day, honestly, that's all that matters to me. If any of you found any help or enjoyment or benefit from listening to any of the videos I've ever made, I appreciate you. Thank you. And reach out and talk if you ever want to. I am a person. I exist. I can communicate with people. So, all right. That's all for now. Kind of went in all sorts of different directions, I know. But enjoy and have a good day.